Gervonta Davis contract offers were capped, says Shakur Stevenson, as he has an interview with Najee of Cigar Talk and explains a series of things like 1, what happened with his injury, 2, why he didn't sign with the PBC, and number 3, why isn't he mentioning Gervonta Davis? Let's talk about the answers to that and whether or not they are logical in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, 135-pound division is where we are. Shakur Stevenson, Gervonta Davis, Lomachenko, Berinchik, Zepeda. Man, we got a poppin' weight class if these guys can fight each other. Obviously, the fight that most people want to see would be the Shakur Stevenson and Gervonta Davis fight, but that's not happening right now. And Shakur Stevenson made a bunch of moves that all ended when he hurt his hand, reportedly, in a sparring match. And there was tape of the sparring match. Only problem, Shakur says that's not what happened. Now, before I get into the details, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And thank you to everybody, Barbara D, Matty Yole, everybody that supports in the super thanks. Thank you guys so much for your continued support. It really makes a big deal to the channel, especially during these times where we don't have a lot of American fights going on. And Shakur Stevenson was a fight that was supposed to be coming up with Joe Cordina in October on the undercard of the on the Dimitri Bivol and Artur Beterbiev card, but he got injured. He hurt his hand. People believe that they got to see how he hurt himself. But in this interview with Najee on Cigar Talk, he said that's not what happened. And actually he was quite upset that people had released that tape because he'd only sent it to a couple people, higher up people. He didn't say the organization, but he felt that would not get out. Nobody would share that. However, it got out, and it really wasn't that particular punch that did it. He said he had hurt his hand earlier in the, I think the best phrase for it is that he had aggravated a existing injury in that sparring session. He did it before, and then he did it again, and then he said when he went down off of it, he just couldn't take it anymore. So he said that was not the injury, that the injury had been there, and that people around him said, hey, you should take care of this because you don't want to go into this fight and have something go wrong. You know, you're over there in Saudi Arabia fighting on this card. Fix your hand. We got to fix your hand. Let's hold up on this fight, and let's hold off till, and this is what Shakur Stevenson said about his return, let's hold off to February and return against William Zepeda. Now, the reason that I think this is important is because I am a huge fan of telling you I told you so. And I told you so. This is a pre-existing injury that got aggravated, and he used it and he decided, well, it hurts a little bit more than it should. Let me get this fixed now. So I'm going to have surgery and this fight is off. But what does that mean? What that means is that you have Joe Cordina. He could have fought Joe Cordina if he wanted to fight Joe Cordina and just won the fight. But he said, no, I'm not going to fight Joe Cordina. I'm going to have this surgery that I could have had before. But because that is a reasonable way, or at least a unintended result, let's assume it's an unintended result of it, is that the fight gets canceled and he doesn't have to take that garbage fight with Joe Cordina, and he can go straight to the fight that he wanted to get to anyway, which was William Zepeda, which is actually going to mean something to him and mean something to people that watch. And it also does away with the unfortunate what do you call it? Optive, where you have unintended optic of Shakur Stevenson being on Dimitri Bival's undercard. So it all works out for Shakur just by going to get the surgery that he could have got before any of these last several fights. So good move for Shakur. It works. Now, Shakur, and I don't disagree with Shakur. I think that's probably a smart move. I would have liked to see him fight in October, but hey, man, let's get it done. I mean, let's do it. Now, on the other side is he talked about, because people were saying, hey, man, you're ducking. Why didn't you sign with the PBC? I'm going to tell you, man, this answer that Shakur Stevenson gave, I like it because it makes a lot of sense. A lot of times people give answers that don't make sense. Even if you don't agree, even if you agree with them, even if you don't agree with them, they should at least make sense. And what Shakur said was, look, the reason that I didn't sign with the PBC is, number one, they're not putting on as many cards as other people are. They're not having as many fight dates at this point in time. And that's true. They don't have as many fight dates as DAZN or as ESPN does. So he says, hey, man, I want to stay active. That's his prerogative. But the statement itself is true. But more importantly than that, he mentioned that he doesn't have a relationship with the PBC. So the fact that he doesn't have a relationship, and I have to assume that he's talking about Al Heyman, that he doesn't have a relationship with Al Heyman, and he doesn't have a relationship with the other people in the organization, that he feels like he would be at risk of being put on the back burner for the organization because he would fall second fiddle to guys like Errol Spence and Gervonta Davis and Canelo Alvarez and the other people that have been around with them for a very long time, that they are going to be loyal to them and continue to work with them and make sure that these guys get fight dates. And I think Shakur Stevenson's probably right. So he says he's going over there to the DAZN to get these fights done. And that makes sense to me. I don't have a problem with that, man. I really don't have a problem with that logic. Looking at it from his point of view. Now, when he talks about the Gervonta Davis fight, and people ask, hey, man, why aren't you talking as much about the Gervonta Davis fight? Very reasonable answer, man. He said, damned if you do, damned if you don't. If you talk about the Gervonta Davis fight, then you're clout chasing. If you don't talk about it, then why aren't you talking about it? You must not want it. You're ducking. So you get caught in this. He gets caught. And I do think that YouTube channels, Twitter, and the such do get people caught on that. They get people caught. They get boxers caught in this damned if you do, damned if you don't situation where if you talk about the fight, then okay, you're clout chasing. But if you don't say anything about the fight, then you're ducking. My case in point is Brian Norman Jr. and what happened with Jaron Ennis. Because I truly believe that Jaron Ennis did not have the ability to fight Brian Norman Jr. Those offers being sent by Eddie Hearn was nothing but a game to have the public conversation go on about the offer and the offers that are being made by Jaron and Eddie and their desire to get the fight. Now I don't doubt that Jaron wants to fight, but Eddie is doing a little bit of gamesmanship, a little bit of media play in the moves that he's making, and that stuff runs downhill on Shakur. And Shakur is smart for not being involved in it because it says at least, hey, man, at least if I don't say anything, eventually it'll die down. And he's right about it. But at the end of the day, man, I want to see these two guys fight. February it is with William Zepeda, but I will tell you, Shakur need to be careful because William Zepeda can end up just saying no thank you as well. But hey, I guess if Turkey Al-Sheikh and these guys are going to pay ridiculous amounts of money to get the fight happen, that may minimize the risk, and we'll see what happens. But that's my take. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.